Welcome everybody to the May meeting of the Planning Decisions Committee of Yarra Council. Yarra City Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri Wurrung people as the traditional owners and true sovereigns of the land now known as Yarra. We acknowledge their creative spirit Bunjil, their ancestors and their elders. We acknowledge the strength and resilience of the Wurundjeri Wurrung who have never ceded sovereignty and retained their strong connections to family, clan and country despite the impacts of European invasion. We also acknowledge the significant contributions made by other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to life in Yarra. We pay our respects to elders from all nations here today and to their elders past, present and future. We have all councillors here today with the exception of apologies from Councillor Sophie Wade and Councillor Andrew Davies. All the relevant officers are here. Declaration of conflict of interest. Councillor is going to ask you, each of you, to make a conflict of interest declaration. You may respond, I do, to the following question. Do you declare, and I'll go through, starting with the Deputy Mayor, then I'll go through in alphabetical order. Do you declare that you've familiarised yourself with the matters being presented to this meeting and that you do not have a conflict of interest?
I do.
Deputy Mayor Harrison, thank you. Councillor Aston?
I do.
Councillor Crossland?
I do.
Councillor Gomez?
I do.
Councillor Ho?
I do.
Councillor McKenzie?
I do.
And I do. Minutes of the last PDC meeting, the 28th of April. Somebody was there like to move those minutes? Councillor Crossland, anyone like to second it? Councillor Gomez, anyone want to speak to that or against? I'll put that to the floor. Those in favour? Those minutes are passed unanimously. We've got two business items tonight, so what we'll do is we'll hear from any registered speakers. After they've spoken, they get 5 minutes each. The councillors can then ask questions either to the officers or to the objectors or to the applicant, and then we determine on the matter, and then the officers, after that determination is made, will explain to all parties what happens from here on in. We'll start with 173, 177 Barclay Avenue, Burnley. We've got two speakers. So first up, I'll invite Mark Tresconthick to come up and speak for up to 5 minutes. Welcome, Mark. Thank you. Just press the button on the mic. Yeah, thanks, mate. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Thank you, Mark. Adele Hannafin. Welcome, Adele, and you've also got 5 minutes. Yes, please do.
Good evening. My name's Adele Hannafin and I live at 39 Adam Street, Burnley, which is the property next to this build on the northern interface. I, like Mark, completely support the Builders Store Hub. It's, from my point of view, it's so much more wanted than an office building or something that makes a lot of noise. Unfortunately, it is quite large. It would have been much better if it was more like 5 stories. The main point, though, is also 24/7. I believe that it should be normal operating hours from about 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. I don't believe many people will be using it at night. And the photos that are coming around of my house, all my windows are roof line. So all the noise from next door, even from Roger's cellars, which is there right now, everything comes through the windows, opened or closed, because they're right up on the roof line, plus the glass door that I've got in the backyard. So it should operate under normal business hours. And yes, it is in a commercial zone, but it does indeed sit in a much larger residential area surrounded on at least 3 sides by homes. Due to the fact that the driveway exit onto Adam Street runs right next to my house, I will be inundated with all the noise from this business. Cars, trucks, mechanical air conditioning units, vibrations, pollution, light, general noise. This, I think, is a huge abuse of my amenity that I'm entitled to live a peaceful and healthy life. This problem is compounded by the fact that the windows, especially in the bedroom, are on the roof line. All noise comes through them, open or closed, and the large back door where my living room is. At the moment, when the Roger Cellars people come out to have a barbecue or to use their phone, I follow their whole conversation. I have had, in the past couple of years, had 2 instances where I've taken Roger Sellers to the EPA due to noise at night. I have won both times. At close of business of this, hopefully it'll be 6 or maybe 7 o'clock at night, I don't want any lights to be operating on that driveway because the light spill also comes through. And the rain garden to be moved from next to my backyard and the benches around it, so I don't need anyone having conversations down there, and moved to the very front of the property. They want to pull down the wall that is dividing my house from their property. My house was built in 1880 and I have found out that it's just built on rubble. So a lot of damage will be done. But if they do insist on pulling it down, I really want to insist that that is the very first thing to be built again, because I don't want to spend 2 years with an open cyclone fence for safety and privacy matters. Finally, all the security gates next to me to be only open once in the morning and at close of business, and to be as quiet as possible. I'm just asking the council to, I know I'm only one person, but I love where I live and it is so peaceful and so gorgeous. And I just don't want it going 24/7. I just don't need it at 4 o'clock in the morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adele. Can you just turn that microphone off, please?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you so much. Councillors, I'm in your hands now. Are there any questions to the officers? Deputy Mayor Harrison?
Can I just ask a question in relation to the submission that we just heard regarding the wall that abuts Ms Hannafin's property? Is that to be rebuilt, and can we condition a timeline for that to occur?
Officers, please.
Through you, Council. Based on the plans, the wall has been nominated as being potentially demolished if it's under, if it's required to be demolished, like if it's under distress or anything of that sort, like if it needs to be replaced, and if it is to be replaced, it's going to be replaced like for like. So it's not the intention of this proposal to proceed with the demolition of that wall unless it's necessary.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Sorry, just to follow up. So the second part of the question was around whether we could condition the timing of any works on that wall.
As a separate element, no, we cannot. It'll be, it's a built form, a building element of the broader proposal that we can't just isolate on its own as part of the permit.
Follow-up question. So in the event that that wall were taken down for structural reasons, let's say, could we condition some kind of protective scaffolding, framing, whatever it is, that would at least afford Ms Hannafin some privacy in the period that the construction takes?
Through you, Chair, protective scaffolding is covered under the construction management plan, and that'll assess the situation in terms, and the building regulations, obviously, which will assess the building permit controls that will need to be included as part of that in order to proceed with the demolition or rectification of that wall.
Councillor McKenzie.
So we've been getting a lot of Department of Planning and Transport referrals, and I just wonder if we're at a point yet where you, as planners, can tell us when we oppose these, we still give, you know, if you're going to go ahead with it anyway, we do it this way. And when we sort of, you know, give our approval to it, we also do a similar thing. Is there a difference in how the department takes into account our recommendations based on whether we oppose it or approve it from in our submission? Or is that, does that not have any bearing on the outcome of which parts of our recommendations they take on board?
Through you, Chair, whether officers or council are writing a submission in support or not in support of a proposal, we always propose recommended conditions of approval, and the department take on board and consider those recommended conditions. whether or not they take on board all of those conditions is, I guess, dependent on the individual application that's being considered.
Okay, thank you. We've got a way forward, I think, from Councillor Deputy Mayor.
One more question.
Yeah.
Just following up on my previous question, you've mentioned the construction management plan. Who prepares that?
Through you, Chair. So that's required to be prepared by the permit holder and submitted to council for review and approval.
And that also applies with the development facilitation pathway applications?
Correct.
Okay, so we can take the feedback that's been provided this evening in relation to the potential issues with the removal of the wall and the protection of the residents' privacy into account at the time that the construction management plan is prepared?
So I believe the construction management plan condition does deal with security of the property, so that would be a relevant consideration, yes.
Thank you. Councillor Deputy Mayor Harrison, you've got a scheduled way forward, I believe.
Yes, look, I have an amendment, but Councillor Crossland also has an amendment, and we have agreed to combine the two amendments together. So could we see that, please?
Can we get it on the screen, please, for everyone to see? And so just before you speak to it, actually, maybe just while you're speaking to it, you can explain what it is. So you've got a mover as a seconder. I take it Councillor Crossland is seconding. Deputy Mayor, you've got 3 minutes to speak to this starting.
Okay, I'll just speak briefly. I think having reviewed the submissions that were made by residents, pretty much every single one of them raised the issue of 24/7 access that was proposed in this application. All of them were opposed to that. I consider the feedback that's been provided here tonight by Ms Hannafin in relation to the fact that she is in a low-rise property. It is low-rise all around that area. Yes, it's on a commercial site. However, I think we need to give consideration to the hours that this facility would operate, and as has been highlighted by the other Mr Skothic, no other facility in Richmond is operating 24/7, so I'm proposing to change those hours so that the facility would operate the same hours for any goods being delivered, and that the exception for customers be removed so that goods may only be delivered between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on a Sunday or public holiday. That was the amendment I had proposed. I think I'll leave the rest of it for Councillor Crossland to respond to what he's proposed.
Thank you. Councillor Crossland.
Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you very much to our submitters this evening, and also to officers for the preparation of the report. I've made several amendments here. The most notable one is on one of the other pages, but it's to really just call out the fact that this application has been made through the Development Facilitation Program that has multiple ways in which you can make an application under that. I genuinely don't believe it meets the threshold for that, and that is the primary reason I'm frustrated that they have gone with this avenue, because it's designed for developments that are going to accommodate substantial residential developments, notably with those that have affordable housing, that will have significant economic development contributions to the area, and or demonstrate great design. It doesn't actually meet any of the criteria, and that's where my real concern is in terms of using this mechanism. It should have been received by us via a normal planning application process via council. We should be the decision maker on this application. Having said that, if DTP decides to proceed with a permit, the amendments that I've sought be included seek to make the stairwells better places so people actually use them more and feel safer in doing so, mitigate some of the stairs that have been randomly placed in the building, seeks to chamfer the corner of Barclay Avenue and Adam Street, so you get better passage around that corner. There's also increased clearance around one of the lifts, so those that are in the building using it have practical application and use. A key one is setting back the whole building for a minimum of 2 metres to Barclay Avenue. So there are no projections or structures in that setback area. Barclay Avenue is a really busy road. It's going to get busier. We need to be making sure there's appropriate space for what needs to happen there in the future. And also a significant increase in the amount of vertical greenery or use of creepers to all levels of the north, south and west frontages of the building to really soften that building to the surrounding areas, and making sure that we've got the maintenance program and details of the irrigation system necessary to sustain that. And also just making sure that the tree species are reviewed and
30 seconds.
Appropriate for the location for the property to the north, to make sure they're getting screened as much as possible and will be impacted as least as possible by this development. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crossan. Anyone else want to add anything very important to this debate? Okay, well then we'll just go straight to a vote. All those in favour of the amended motion, please raise your hand. That is passed unanimously. Officers, can you please explain to people here what happens from here on in?
Through you, Chair. So the alternate recommendation is carried for the General Manager of the Statutory Planning Unit to write to the Department, detailing the concerns as well as offering the full suite of conditions that have been detailed. Thank you.
Thank you to both of the submitters, Mark and Adele. We'll move straight along to 6.2, 39 to 47 Lithgow Street, Abbotsford. There are no registered speakers. Councillors, are there any questions to officers? No. I think we have a suggested way forward from Councillor Aston and Councillor Crossan. Is that correct?
Yep, we've got a
Can we
combined
get that on the
amendment.
screen, please? And what we'll do is we'll go straight to, if that's all right, Councillor Aston, to you moving the motion. Your 3 minutes now.
Okay. Look, this is a build-to-rent development, and that obviously has its challenges in terms of genuine market affordability for rentals, lack of contribution to our open space fund, etc. But recognising it is part of the housing landscape now, and we're likely to see more of these, and they will continue to bypass us and go straight to Department of Transport and Planning, it's important that we do what we can to advise DTP about what will fit within our community as best as possible. I believe this amendment on top of the officer's report will do that. We did have quite a few objections, and we have sought to incorporate those concerns within this amendment where possible, making provisions in the construction management plan to cater for school concerns regarding traffic and child safety during the construction, related to landscaping to strengthen planting success and survival and use of natives over the course of the lifespan of the development, so it continues to be green. Reinforcing no loss of on-street parking on Lithgow Street, ensuring site security during construction, incorporating of the brick boundary wall within the development, and glazing and additional bike parking options, but also, most importantly, I think, an increase in the number of two-bedroom apartments and a reduction in studio apartments to improve the housing profile and options for new residents in the area. I think there are some things that are good about this proposal, being that it is actually providing affordable housing, even if it is just 16 apartments, rather than just the financial contribution, which other developers have opted to pay. So I think that is to be commended. I think the officer's change to it being provided ideally in perpetuity, or at least for 25 years, is a strong recommendation. And notably, even though they could get away without providing any on-site parking, they have actually nominated to provide some on-site parking, about 43 or something. So it's not as much as the local residents would like, but it is a welcome addition. Look, I hope that DTP takes this amendment, this recommended report on board and adopts it in whole, because I think that will be a much better solution for the community at large.
Thank you. Councillor Crossland?
Thank you. Councillor Aston has touched on many of the points that I would have spoken to. In all, I think the officer recommendations complemented by the amendments that are sought through this to basically seek a better outcome on behalf of the community, bring it into greater alignment with the DDO, and if it is actually taken on board by the department, will facilitate a much better outcome. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else want to speak on this matter? No. We'll put it to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That is passed unanimously. The process from here on in on this matter is exactly the same as the previous matter, so we don't need the officers to explain that twice in one meeting. And on that basis, I'm going to close the meeting at 6:55 p.m. Thank you all.